so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Orange County. This is season 17, episode 8. So let's get into the review. We gonna get a little spicy, just a little, because I want to talk about Heather. So it looks like Heather and Terry DeBro actually purchased a home in LA. So it was a $16 million home, and it is actually a very nice home. It's white. I wouldn't want a white house because I just think about it getting dirty. But the mansion is lovely. The mansion is lovely. So I'm going to put the article below. But the only reason I'm bringing it up is we all know that Heather is moving from OC to Beverly Hills now. And a lot of people are speculating like, hey, since she's moving to Beverly Hills, does this mean Heather is going to be on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? I don't think so. I would actually be really surprised if she decides to join Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, only because that show does not seem to be Heather's speed, if you get what I mean. Like, each version of Real Housewives in each state has a different vibe. Like, the LA girls or Beverly Hills girls are not the same as the OC girls, just as the OC girls are not the same as the Atlanta girls, and the Atlanta girls are not the same as the New Yorks, and then the Potomac, and then you have Salt Lake City, Miami. It's like every show is their own little like universe, and it just makes sense. Like, the things that happen on their shows make sense to where I don't know if Heather would make sense on Beverly Hills. Now, like I said, if she pop up, I'm gonna be shocked. But the house is lovely. I do think this is possibly Heather's last season because it's giving like they're trying to take Heather down, but I don't think she cares. And when I say I don't think she cares, I just think like right now she is in like a midlife crisis and trying to figure out where she goes from here now that her two oldest kids are starting college and she's 54 or like 53. And it's like, what am I going to do for the next 30 years or in the next 40 years? Because we hope, like, for me, I want to make it to 90. Okay, 99. And I want to make it to 90. 99, 90, I want to be in that area. But it seems like she is trying to reconstruct her life to be what it is that she wants it to be now that her kids are gone. So I don't think being a part of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills would really work for her. But that's just my thoughts. But let's get into this. The episode opens up and we are seeing Shane and Emily getting waxed. I did not need to see that lady get her hoo-ha waxed, nor did I need to see her and her man get their nose hairs ripped out. I didn't need to see it. It didn't need to be a scene, but they gave it to us. We find out that Emily is having a slip and slide adult pool party, which would have been more fun once we get there. We'll talk about it. If she actually had other things to do, if there was we'll talk about it. But Shane is like, where are you having it? And she was like, I asked your mom, and your mom said it was cool if we had it at her house. And he was like, I bet. We also find out that Emily and Shane is into doing a lot of backdoor stuff. And if you know what backdoor is, you know what I'm talking about. But it could not be me. But that's what y'all do, so do what you do. So we then see this scene of Jenn and her son, one of her sons, her 13-year-old son. We then see, what's her name? Taylor and her daughter and her daughter's friend, and then we see Shannon. It's crazy to see these kids grow up on TV. I remember seeing Taylor's daughter when Taylor had that what's it called? Alice in Wonderland theme party for her, and the little girl was like, I ain't asked for all of this. All I wanted was some cake and my toys. Not all of this. Not a tea party. But it's crazy that we saw her when she was like a little child, like a toddler, to now she's 16. And I think they said they were like juniors in high school. So it's like, that's one thing I think is so cool and actually like very wholesome about reality TV is seeing the kids grow up. And especially when it's like something positive, like you see them go off to college and just come into their own. I think that's a cool aspect of reality TV. So they end up taking this ferry to like another part of the area where it looks like it's like a boardwalk with a Ferris wheel and a roller coaster, and you can get like fair food and stuff like corn dogs and stuff. One thing, I did not need them to do a flashback of Taylor deep throating cotton candy. I didn't want to see that. I was like, this ain't Cinemax. This is not HBO After Dark. Stop. Okay? Stop. So We then see Shannon finally show up. The kids end up leaving the table, and they sit down with Jenn, and they're talking to her. And Shannon and Taylor ask Jenn, like, "Oh, so like, how are you after what happened? After getting that napkin thrown in your face?" And Jenn is like, "Girl, I don't know." She was like, "I've been crying. I've been worked up." She was just like, "I don't know what's going on with me and Tamara, because the way Tamara is acting, that is not the Tamara I know. That is not the person that I became friends with. And I don't understand why she's doing this to me." So then Taylor brings up, like, well, who's this Heather girl? Like, it seems like, it's like, is she your friend? Is she not your friend? Is this Ryan's ex? And then Jenn ends up telling us that Heather and Ryan were like brother and sister. I call BS. It feels like Heather and Ryan had like maybe a friends with benefits type of relationship. It doesn't give that. And honestly, Heather, we'll get there. I'll get there in a minute. Because I feel like I'm going to get ahead of myself. But Jenn pretty much says, like, when Tamara and her met Heather, they kind of called BS too on Heather and Ryan's relationship. They pretty much felt like, girl, he the town whore, and you never slept with him. And she's like, "No, that's not how I get down. That's not my man like that. No, no, no." And everyone's like, it's giving that your man. Giving that your man. But now Jenn is like, "I don't believe that's happened." She was like, "I feel like Heather was in love with Ryan, and she's kind of upset that I got to him first." I call BS on that too, Jenn. You know your man is a whore. You know your man is the town hoe. You know who you are with. That's why you acting delusional. And granted, some people need delusions to stay in a relationship, but it's really given that you know who he is, because that whole him sending the dick pic to Heather gave that him and Heather had that type of relationship, and you probably told him, "Don't play with me like that." Cause girl, no, you and that they did things, and they did things. So then Shannon tells Jenn, like, "Girl, well, you did try to insinuate that, like, Tamara might have had the hots or might have been feeling or flirtatious with Ryan." And Jenn is like, no, I was just saying that, like, you were jokey about Ryan and him and Ryan being hot and this and that. And now all of a sudden you're uncomfortable. But I'm like, no, Jenn, that is exactly what you insinuated, which I don't have a problem with her doing that. Tamara has been coming at Jenn since like episode 2 or 3. We're, I think, on episode 8, and it's like every time Tamara gets around Jenn, it's like she sprinkles or she lets the girls know more tea about her. At this point, fight fire with fire. Fight fire with a flare gun. I don't know, because you're not gonna keep embarrassing me and keep. Because at this point, I feel like Tamara takes Jenn as a joke, because Jenn is not getting active with Tamara. Because even Shannon was like, "Well, why not tell her how you feel?" And then Jenn is like, "Well, I wasn't going to yell at her or tell her how I feel when she's drunk. Girl, I would cuss you out and all drunk and all. I don't care if you're drunk. You're still being a horrible person to me for no reason. And it just doesn't make sense." So Shannon and Taylor are basically encouraging Jenn to like speak up next time she sees Tamara and really tell her how they feel. So we then see this scene of Heather and Tamara meeting up at some shop where Heather is trying to get a hostess gift for Emily. And pretty much Heather feels like she been on an apology tour, just apologizing. She was like, "At Nobu, it was left and right. I'm saying I'm sorry to everybody. It was just a lot. I'm tired of saying sorry to everyone." And then Heather asked Tamara, like, "Girl, what's up with you and Jenn? Because that was a mess. That was a mess." Then Tamara tried to act like, "I don't really know what was going on. Everything seems fuzzy, but I do remember I threw a napkin in her face." You don't remember everything, but you do remember that you assaulted somebody by throwing something in their face. And my thing about it is, I remember someone saying this, so I'm going to say allegedly because I can't remember the source. But allegedly, somebody online who's like always into the Housewives stuff was saying, I think it was like a blog page, that it was known that Tamara does not drink when the show is off, like when the show is off. Like in her day-to-day life beyond filming, she does not drink, but when she gets on to film, she drinks so she can amp it up and be more carefree. And in this season, it's feeling like that because in several seasons we've seen Tamra drunk and her acting erratic, even though she called Shannon a drunk. You had her on the boat being like, "You're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar," and then knocking things over. Then you have her now, what's it called? At like at Nobu throwing stuff at people and getting up and being angry. So it's like you're accusing other people of having a drinking problem, ma'am, but it seems like you might be the one with one. It seems like it's projection because you should not need to drink to be on this show. You just shouldn't. But Tamara brings up that Jenn texted her no, texted Heather and pretty much told Heather this. She said, "Your name is the source of all information. I truly think we should talk this out. I'm sure from a personal and professional standpoint, you would not want us sharing any of your personal info." So Heather's like, "Ooh, that kind of sounds like a threat." And Tamara is like, "I think it is a threat." And my thing is like, it is a threat. And and in my opinion, since y'all want to play with me and embarrass me out in these streets, that's what Jen's saying. Y'all want to play me and embarrass me out in these streets. I can play this game too, and I might win it. So if you don't want your professional and personal tea out there, then it would behoove you to be quiet about mine. And I have no problems with that. They've been playing in that lady's face, and Jenn need to either start cussing these people out or just do what you got to do and start releasing information and stay quiet. All right, y'all. So let's get Gina's scenes out the way. So we end up seeing Gina meet up with Matt's girlfriend Travis, and their two sons. And the kids are playing, and they're sitting down having like some blended family picnic date kind of thing. And I wasn't gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it now. I think Gina still wants to be with Matt. And that's just what it is. The fact that she said that, like, she could get over the DV situation because it was like one isolated incident versus him cheating for years, and it's just something she's gonna have to live with and still work through, makes me feel like this lady still is in love with this man, and she's just kind of she's trying to act like she like we're a family, we're better together. It's giving you still want to be with him. And the only reason I say that is because no, I'm not saying that people who want to blend their families or people who are co-parenting can't have relationships. It's great that you guys can have a relationship. It's wonderful and probably needed that you need to have a relationship with that person, and there needs to be mutual respect, but y'all don't got to be like this. And it feels like Gina is trying to force, like, we're like this, don't mess with Brittany. And it's like it's overcompensation, which makes me feel like you're trying to hide the fact that there's still a part of you that would probably want to be with Matt if he gave you the opportunity. But you know you can't do that because you've been on this show and you let us into your world and into your life, and we know about the DV situation, and we also know about the cheating that he did for multiple years. Because when she said that's something I just have to live with, like processing the cheating, I was like, the only time you would have to live with someone cheating on you is if you stayed with them. But you're no longer with Matt, you're with Travis. So you shouldn't even be worried about Matt. You should be worried about Travis. But you're not. You're still trying to get over Matt. That doesn't make sense to me. You helping this man get his record expunged. And me, in my mind, I'm like, when people say they're getting a record expunged, I always thought that meant your record was wiped clean. But no, his felonies just got bumped down to misdemeanors. And he lost a lot of like financial certification. I guess he was like a finance bro or something like that because of getting convicted. But I wasn't going to say this, but like I said, I think Gina expected Matt to spiral after their divorce, after him being outed that he caused, like, you know, the physical violence between them, after the constant cheating. But I'm like, girl, we live in a patriarchal society, as well as I also don't think she thought Matt was going to take full accountability for what he did. I do not think she thought that man was going to come into that courtroom and just be like, Yeah, I did all of it. And maybe because Matt gives that he normally did not do that and would gaslight Gina, I think it maybe awakened something in her being like, oh my gosh, he can change. Because I feel like when people stay with people for a long time after being cheated on constantly, it's like that person, he or she is waiting for that person to finally get the like aha moment that the person that they're with is valuable, and they start to do internal work to change. And I think it kind of shocked her that Matt did accept full accountability. And it also means that she has been talking about that man a whole lot, because let's get to the next scene of Gina's. We see Gina at home cooking dinner for Travis, and they sit down, and Travis point blank straight face asks her, do you miss your old life? And it's like, see, you've been talking too much about him. You keep acting like Travis is your person and that you can keep dumping how you feel about your situation with Matt and the divorce, and all of that stuff. And it's like, that is not what your partner is there for. Yes, like I've said before, your partner should be there to help you work through certain issues, but constantly coming to someone over and over and over about your ex is wrong to me. And it's also like, it's a toxic trait, because why do you feel the need to keep reiterating to me that your last relationship was shitty and that this person did you so wrong? Like, I am not a rebound. I am not your counselor. You're not paying me to listen to this. So that's why Heather told you, and even Shannon, go, you need to talk to somebody. Because the fact that Travis asked her, like, do you miss your old life, signifies two things to me. Either one, Travis is like, in his mind, the wheels are turning, that either you've been talking so much that he feels like you probably want to be with him again. Like, you want to be with Matt and you miss what you had with him. Or two, you want the lifestyle that Matt could provide you, and Travis can't do that for you. So he might be feeling like, dang, I can't give her that because she's not living the lifestyle that she used to live. So shut up, Gina. Go to a therapist. Sit down with a therapist and really talk about your stuff before Travis decides to skadoodle. If I was Travis, I would skadoodle. Then have this scene of Tamra and Emily meeting up. First of all, Emily's stupid, because ain't no way I'm meeting up with Tamra to drop some tea with her and then gonna ask, but girl, don't throw me under the bus. You know she's gonna throw you under the bus. So they meet up at some like honky tonk looking place with like, what's it called? Highway signs and cowboy boots on the inside. And they sit down and they talk, and Emily's is like, I just feel like I really relate to Tamra. You relate to a lot of people. You said you related to Jenn. You relating to Tamra. You relate to Taylor. You relating to everybody. Girl. Emily. So Emily sits down and she talks about, and I think Emily is really upset that she missed that Montana trip, because we're on the second episode after them being back from Montana, and this is like the third or second time Emily has mentioned Montana. She's like, you like my belt buckle? It was for Montana. Okay, girl, you couldn't go. You were sick. It is what it is. So they pretty much sit down and they talk, and they rehash out about the mean things Tamra said about Emily calling her Shrek, and then Emily calling Tamra Lucifer, and them just going back and forth. And then they start talking about Shannon and John, and we find out that Tamra and Eddie and Shannon and John went on a double date, and Tamra tells Emily, like, yeah, Eddie was like grilling them, asking why they haven't moved in together after being together for so long, like what's their plans and stuff like that. And it just seemed like kind of they were like all over the place. And she was like, I don't really know about that relationship. So then Emily lets it be known that Heather has shared with her some not so great things that Shannon has said about John. And Tamara's like, she said that? And then Tamara's like, yeah, well, Heather has said the same thing to me. I don't believe that. But she's like, yeah, she said the same thing to me. So now Tamara thinks that she has the power, like not the power, what's the word? Is it the gall? I don't know. Tamara thinks she's the right person to question somebody's friendship with Shannon, when for 2 years, Tamara was talking trash about Shannon actively on her podcast with Teddy. Teddy from RHOB, from Beverly Hills. It's like, how dare you sit here and try to act like you can question someone's friendship to Shannon when you treated Shannon like trash? When you called that lady an alcoholic, said that you should have never been sticking up for her, and now all of a sudden, because Emily brings up that Heather has shared something with her off camera, I'm adding that now all of a sudden Heather is somebody to be questioned. The fact that Heather hasn't said anything about John and Shannon's relationship, but y'all are now trying to bring up that maybe she said something negative or shared with Emily, like something that Shannon had shared with her that she never brought to the show, and now y'all want to bring it to the show. Shannon should be mad at Emily and Tamara, because why are you bringing this to the show if Heather hasn't brought it to the show just to prove a point that Heather's not a good friend? Girl, what? And again, Emily is stupid, because at the end of this scene, she tells Tamara, don't throw me under the bus, girl. And you see in Tamara's eyes, like, I'm not going to do that. Girl, she's definitely going to do that. She's done that to everybody. She's done that to everybody. She has done that to everybody. So we get to Shane's mom's house. Shane's mom's house is beautiful. Okay, Shane's parents have a nice home. That backyard is nice. That pool is nice. They get the slip and slide ready. They have a champagne gun, and everyone arrives. We see Jenn shows up in all black because she just don't know what's gonna happen. She don't know. She's not feeling too in the mood. The girls are questioning Jenn about Tamara and asking her like how she feels about Tamara, and Jen's like, I don't know. I'm actually really nervous and kind of scared. We find out that Tamara is bringing Heather A to the party. Mind you, Tamara told Heather Dubrow that she was bringing Heather A. And this is kind of how you know that Jenn hasn't made friends with these ladies yet, because I guarantee you Heather probably told Gina or Emily or Tamara told Emily that Heather A was coming, and no one decided to tell Jenn like, hey, she coming, be ready. Be ready. So everyone's getting ready. We then see this scene with Heather and Emily talking, where Emily apologizes for being so aggressive with Heather at the table. Talk about, you're fake. You're fake. You were talking all this trash about Tamara, and now you and Tamara are friends. Mind you, I agree that Heather is coming off fake being friends with Tamara when we know Tamara is not to be trusted, and she's mean and can be very nasty towards people. But I also do feel like Emily do be getting aggressive with people for no reason, and sometimes it be out the blue, and it's like, chill out. Chill out. So all the girls are there. They got the slip inside. It was a decent amount of people at the house, so I think it was an actual party, like an actual party that they had. And so we see Jenn sees Heather, because Tamara and Heather A get there, and she's like, oh my gosh, for real, this what we doing here? So they say hi to each other. Then the people start mingling, and then we see Jenn go over to Heather A and was like, hey, I need to talk to you, so let's sit down and have a talk. So they sit down and have a talk. You see Tamara, because the other ladies are in another, like they're looking at them have a conversation, and they're like kind of at the back of behind them while they're having the conversation, sitting down on the lawn chairs. And everyone's like, should we go over there? Should we not? And they're like, no, let them have their, let them talk, let them do what they do. And Heather and Jenn start to talk, and Jenn is like, girl, what's up with you and me? What is up with you and me? And Heather's A is like, well, I have an issue with you threatening me. So the text message that I read earlier, Jenn had sent that text message to Heather, and then Heather sent the text message to Tamara to let her know, like, girl, get your girl. And Jen's like, girl, what do you want me to do, Heather A? Like, girl, every time I hear something about my man, I'm finding out that you're the source. And Heather A is like, what do you mean I'm the source? I'm not the source. And Jenn is looking at her like, what do you mean you're not the source? Because your best friend Tamara has been telling me that she be getting all her tea from you. So what are you talking about? So Jenn is like, girl, you playing in my face. You playing in my face. So then Heather Dubrow gets up to go sit with the ladies, and she was like, she was like, they really having an intense talk. So that prompts everybody to go sit down with them to listen to them talk. And you got Taylor being like, girl, I'm so sick of hearing about Ryan and Jenn. And I'm with you, Taylor. I'm sick of hearing about Ryan and Jenn. We're on episode 8. I don't want to hear it no more. Like, it's one thing for you to tell your friend, like, girl, I don't like your boyfriend. I think you can do better. He's trash. And your friend decides to stay with them. That is all you can do. Even if he's beating your friend's ass, all you can do is tell your friend, you don't deserve that. I will help you out in any way I can. I will house you. I will find a place for you to stay. But if they don't choose to stay, or if you be like, hey, we can go to the police or whatever, but if they choose not to leave, then you can't do anything. And it's weird that they're trying to force Jenn to leave Ryan or to see who Ryan is, when I think Jenn knows exactly who Ryan is. She knows she married the town slut. It is not married, but she's with the town whore. So it's kind of like, what do y'all want her to do? And what I feel like they want her to do is to have a reaction, because then Heather brings up, like, we told you that he cheated on you and you gave us zero emotion, like Jenn, zero. And I'm like, she shouldn't have gave y'all an emotion because y'all don't genuinely care about her. So everyone's sitting around them like, I think they're telling you this because they care about you and like stuff like that. And Jenn is like trying to take it all in, but she's just like, this is a lot. Shannon is like, well, guys, if she's happy with him, she's happy with him. It's hard to be in a relationship and you're happy and everyone's coming at you and telling you that the person that you're with is not a good person. That's a hard pill to swallow. So then you have, yeah, she's like, that's a lot. That's a hard pill to swallow. So you got Tarma making faces like, girl, we know. Because like alluding to that there's issues with Shannon and John's relationship. But then I think Taylor says, like, I think you guys need to talk. You and Tarma need to talk. So Jenn and Tarma sit down and everybody else goes away. And Jenn is like, what do you want from me? Like, she was like, what do you want from me? Tarma ends up cryingly apologizing to Jenn about throwing a napkin in her face, talking about she's just really hurt and she doesn't want this for her, saying she don't want her to be with Ryan. Jenn is sitting there like, look, I told y'all we broke up. I know it wasn't a break. Because basically what we found out that like I said, it wasn't a breakup. That they were on a break. And she was like, we were on a break, but it wasn't supposed to be we were on a break and you mess around with somebody else. It was supposed to be we needed to take a break from each other, put our relationship on pause for a hot minute, and then come back. But he went out and did other things, like I thought initially. And she was like, I'm trying to work through that. And she was like, y'all keep telling me information that I know and that like I already know. Like, but every time I come around, you keep bringing it up and I'm just trying to work through it because I want to be with him and I want to move forward. And I'm just like, girl, Jenn is stupid if she stays being friends with Tarma, because Tarma does not care about her. She does not care about her, because if she did care about her, this whole one-on-one kind of situation would have happened well before then. Well before this, well before you brought Heather A there, because you brought Heather A there to punk her and it didn't work really. But I wish Jenn would have cussed her out, because at this point, there's no need for us to talk about our friendship. We need to start cussing each other out. Let me cuss you out and let you know how I really am. So they do the slip and slide. Everyone's having a good time. It didn't look that fun to me. And like I said, when we get to this party, there should have been more. As big as that backyard is, like, this was a bare minimum type of party. Nobody was really in the pool like that, just a few people. I would have had people in the pool. We would have had a DJ. Like, the music with food would have been everywhere for everyone to eat. Yes, if y'all wanted to slip inside. We would have had water guns, maybe a balloon fight, something, girl. Something. Maybe play a game with the, like, I know there's like this ball that you fill with water and you throw it around. Something. But them just running up and down on the slip and slide, and it didn't look fun. It looked like it hurt. It looked like it hurt. So you got Shannon doing it in her Spanx. Like, she doesn't have a swimsuit. And then Heather has on a wetsuit that you would see for people that go surfing, or like Emily said, that work at SeaWorld. So Jenn ends up leaving because she was just like, this, I can't fake this. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. And then it's the next day. It's the next day, and we see the girls doing their thing. We end up seeing Ryan and Jenn in their counseling section. And this is my thing. I don't try to knock holistic medicine because I know it works. It can work. I know it can work. There are holistic methods to treating specific diseases or disorders, but this right here, y'all, they need an actual relationship coach, not an energy healer or an energy shifter, because Ryan and Jenn are sitting in this in the office, and next thing you know, you hear that lady go, ah. She was like, are y'all ready for me to cleanse the energy? And she's like, ah. And I didn't expect it. I was like laying on the floor watching the show, and next thing I hear, ah. I said, oh my God, what is going on? And they're sitting there with their eyes closed as this lady's going, ah. And I was like, how are they not laughing? Because I would have cracked up. I would have went into cardiac arrest because I would have laughed so like my heart. Oh, I'd have been no good. I would have been no good. So we see the Tres Amigas meet up. We finally see Vicky. She actually looks really good. Her confessional was actually really nice. We find out that her kids are doing well. I think Brianna is in Illinois with her family. Her son just bought a new house. And the girls are happy to see her. She got a new man. You know, Miss Pick Me Vicky gonna always have her man, and that love tank gonna be full. But one thing I do appreciate is that as Vicky has gotten older, she's kind of loosened the reins when it comes to her talking about sex and how she gets down. She was talking about wearing bottomless underwear and fishnets, talking about I need easy access. So she seems to be enjoying herself. So the ladies are sitting at the table having a good time. Vicky already ordered 3 shots for them. She drinking a martini. She chugging. She's like, let's whoop it up. She having a fun time. This is the Vicky I thought we were going to see in Ultimate Girls Trip, that I wanted to see an Ultimate Girls Trip. Now, what I will say is I wasn't that excited to see Vicky or like that, like, oh my God, it's Vicky, mainly because I already saw her on Ultimate Girls Trip, so it didn't even feel like she went away. Maybe had I not watched that, I would have been like, oh snap, look at Vicky, because they switched up the music. When we saw Vicky, they were playing the old intro music to Real Housewives of Orange County, and I was like, okay, this is kind of a cute little vibe. So they're sitting at the table. Tamara asked Vicky, well, have you been talking to the ladies? And Vicky said, first of all, I don't talk to Bronwyn. I don't talk to Gina. I don't talk to Emily. I don't talk to Kelly. Not that woman called me a pig or Miss Piggy. I don't talk to them. And then she said she saw Heather in the store, but Heather kind of like gave her like a hey girl and kept it pushing. Mind you, I'm the same way. Unless it's like someone I'm like really cool with, I'd be like, hey girl, like, and we see each other. If I see you and I don't really want to see you, I'm gonna be like, oh hey, I gotta get some few things. I'm brushing right past you because I don't want to have a conversation. I came into the store to get a few things and dip out. And Vicky was trying to make it seem like Heather thought that she was better than her, and maybe she do, but girl, get over it, Vicky. So then they asked, like, you know, Shannon how close she is to Heather. And then Tamara's like, well, how is your relationship now? Tamara acting like she didn't watch last season when Heather basically told Shannon, you play with my family, I'm going to be playing with yours. Because you're going to lose more than my friendship you ever play with my family. Which I didn't fault her for that. I thought it was an overkill, but I didn't fault her for that. I didn't. Don't mess up my bag. Don't mess up my bag. But Shannon's like, no, we're in a better place. And I've shared. And no, so then Tamara asked Shannon, have you shared things with Heather? And do you think she'll hold them? And she was like, yeah, she's like a vault. Like, has she told you anything? And then you see Tamara make a face like, and she was like, what has she told you? And then I'm Vicky. Vicky was like, girl, what'd she tell you? What'd she tell you? And they not trying to say. So then Shannon's like, is it about John? And then Tamara kind of makes a face like, and she was like, oh my gosh, no. So then you see Shannon get frantic and walk over to production like, I'm mic'd. I'm not doing this. My relationship will be over. It will be done. It will be gone. I'm not doing this. And then they cut the scene and like it says to be continued. My thing about it is, again, Shannon should be mad at Emily and Tamara. Even if Heather shared what she shared, yeah, Shannon could feel some type of way, but she never brought it to the show. Emily and Tamra are the ones that's trying to bring it to the show. And again, why are you trying to build such a quick friendship with Tamra, Shannon, after that lady for 2 years was dragging you up and down the podcasting streets about how much of a horrible friend and a person you were? Now you're talking about, like, I saw an article where Shannon was like, Heather's trying to ruin her relationship with Tamra. Why would you want a relationship with Tamra? If I was Shannon, I would deal with Tamra with a long-handed spoon. Like, girl, you act like Tamra won't shift and change on you in a hot minute and throw you to the wolves again just to, like, do what she do. Because you see how she's treating Jenn. You also saw how she did Taylor. I honestly think Tamra is starting to get like Marlo, like Andy said, where she's just shooting at everybody. And if you get hit, you get hit because she wants to keep her orange. I think Tamra was so mortified at the fact that she got fired and wasn't able to continue, that now that she's back on the show, she's just trying to start stuff with people, because there's no rhyme or reason why she should be going at Jenn the way she is. But I think it's because her and Shannon were able to make up so quickly, which is Shannon's fault, because Shannon should have been with her. She should have gave that girl, like, we cool, but we ain't that cool. But because Shannon and Tamra are cool now she needs to go after Jenn. And now she's like, okay, this might get old, me beefing with Jenn. So now I'm about to transition to beefing with Heather. And I need Shannon to get mad at her, so it's us two against Heather. Because that's what it's given. And I wish Shannon would have just paid Tamra dust and just would have sat there and looked at Tamra like, what do you say it if you gonna say it? Say it. But the fact that Shannon kind of reverted back to like frantic, wound up Shannon, I was like, girl, she got your card. She got your card and you letting her play you. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.